بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا، اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا، اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا، اللهم تقبل منا ما مضى من رمضان وبارك لنا فيما بقي من رمضان برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك، اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. So, brothers and sisters, as we started a couple days ago, series of khawatir inshallah ta'ala with regards to the rulings of Ramadan inshallah ta'ala, ahkam Ramadan, the fiqh of Ramadan inshallah ta'ala. And last week we covered ahkam Taraweeh, and today inshallah we are going to cover something many people are asking about it, in particular sisters. And this issue is the fast of the pregnant woman as well as the fast of breastfeeding women. Do they have to fast? If not, what are the hukum? If they don't fast, do they have to make up these days, or do they have to pay something called fidya, ransom, or something else? So let's start with, there are many issues with regards to this matter. Let's start with the first one. When or what time pregnant women as well as breastfeeding women can break the fast? In other words, when or under which circumstances they are allowed not to fast Ramadan. They are allowed to break the fast when, brothers and sisters, in three ways. Number one, if they know by experience that if they were to fast, they would harm themselves or the baby. So the first way is the experience, by experience. The second way, brothers and sisters, is by doctor advice. If they have a doctor and the doctor tells them not to fast because if they were to fast they would harm themselves or the baby, so in this case they are allowed not to fast. The third way is what the fuqaha call it ghalabatul dhann. Ghalabatul dhann is certainty or close to certainty or almost certain. If they were to fast they would harm themselves or they harm the baby. So these are the three ways that al-fuqaha ridwanullahi alayhim rahimahumullah stated in this matter, when or how the sisters can break the fast if they are pregnant or if they are breastfeeding. So we said the first one is by experience, the second one doctor advice, the third one is what we call it ghalabatul dhann, which means certain or close to certain if they were to fast they were to harm themselves. Before we move on to the second point, brothers and sisters, we need to understand, as I said this multiple times, that when we say doctor advice, we have to know that fuqaha stated in their books that this doctor must be Muslim. And the fuqaha mentioned that for a reason. They said the doctor must be a Muslim because Muslims' doctor value Ramadan and know the importance of Ramadan, know how essential is Ramadan. So when Muslim doctor tells you not to fast, they know why they are telling you not to fast. But it is not necessary to be a Muslim, the doctor to be Muslim, as long as you as a sister or a brother, your husband, can explain to the doctor very well. If his doctor is non-Muslim, explain to them very well the importance of Ramadan, how essential is Ramadan. Because many times the doctors don't understand what Ramadan is. They know it is something for Muslims rituals to do, but they don't know how essential it is, and it is a pillar of the deen and it's mandatory upon Muslim. So many sisters told me that at some point doctors tell them not to fast, and later on when the doctor got to know the importance of Ramadan, they said, no, it's not a big deal if you were to fast. I just told you don't fast because I thought it is more convenient for you, because I thought this, because I thought that. So that teaches us that not all doctors are educated enough about Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, many are getting to know about Ramadan, but still it is upon you, brother or a sister, to explain to the doctor very, very well how essential is Ramadan. If the doctor after that tells you not to fast, in this case, they know what they are saying, and in this case, you are allowed to take their advice. The other way, brothers and sisters, you can get the second opinion. If you don't feel comfortable with the first doctor advice, you can get the second opinion. So this is with regards to how to break the fast and when to break the fast, which means by experience, by doctor advices, as we explained, or certainty or close to certainty. If you were to fast, you would harm yourself. So this is the first point. The second point is there are two cases or two possible scenarios when sisters break the fast if they are pregnant or they are breastfeeding. The first scenario is they break the fast because of themselves. Because if they were to fast, they would harm themselves. And the second possible scenario is if they were to fast, they would harm the baby or the fetus. So, and the first case, if they were to fast, they would harm themselves. The four madahib, Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Malik, Shafi'i, and Imam Ahmad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with all of them, agree that the sisters, if they were to break the fast because they are afraid to harm themselves if they were to fast, all what they have to do in this case is to make up these days, and that's enough. Let me repeat this. If you are going to break the fast because if you are going to fast, you are going to harm yourself, all what you need to do later on is to make up these days later on. Now the second scenario, when you are told not to fast because of the baby. For example, if you are breastfeeding and you don't eat enough, for example, you are fasting, you don't produce milk enough, and that may harm the baby, and that may not be sufficient to the baby. So in this case, you are told not to fast because of the baby, not because of yourself, not you are going to harm yourselves. In this case, you are breaking the fast because of the baby. And ulama said, the ulama have two opinions with regards to this way. The first madhab, which is the strongest one, is to make up these days later on. You as a sister who are breaking the fast, you need to make up these days later on, and the father of the baby must pay the fidya later on. The father of the baby must pay the fidya later on. The fidya, which means ransom, to pay per every day you didn't fast, a faqir or miskin, a needy one. So paying the fidya. So if you are going to break the fast because of the baby, we said there are two madhahib. The first madhab is to make up these days as well as pay the fidya. And the second madhab is to make up these days only. To make up these days only, and you don't have to pay the fidya. And we said the first madhab, it is strongest one, and also to be on the safe side, you make up these days and also you pay the fidya. Now the last point we want to mention before we conclude today, inshallah, is some sisters ask question if they have continuous pregnancy and then continuous breastfeeding, which means they are pregnant for 9 months and then are breastfeeding their babies for almost 2 years, and then toward the end of these 2 years they got pregnant as well for another 9 months, and then within these two they are going to breastfeed for another 2 years, and maybe they get pregnant the third time. This is what they call it الفقهاء توالي الحمل والإرضاع. توالي الحمل والإرضاع, which means continuous pregnancy, and as a result of that, continuous breastfeeding. The ulama said, if the person when she is pregnant cannot fast because of what we mentioned, and then she's breastfeeding the baby and also she cannot fast, and then get pregnant and cannot fast, and then breastfeeding cannot fast, and then get pregnant cannot fast, and then breastfeeding cannot fast. The ulama said, if this is the situation and the lady itself, she is breastfeeding the baby, not somebody else, not by other means, the ulama said, in this case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He allows sisters in this situation to break the fast, Allah wanted to make it easy for them. And by continuous breaking the fast, many Ramadans will be upon sisters in this case. So ulama said, in this case, it is sufficient for the sisters to feed for every day they didn't fast. Meaning, if there is continuous pregnancy and breastfeeding, it is sufficient for the sisters to feed needy fuqara, to pay the fidya instead of making up these days. Also, it is also acceptable to do both, to make up as much as you could and pay fidya for the rest of the days that you are not able to make up these days. Because sometimes years and years of Ramadans, for example, we are saying about, let's say, 3 pregnancy with 2 years of breastfeeding, that could be 6 years you didn't fast Ramadan, and 6 years of 6 Ramadans, we are talking about 30 days times 6, so that's many days for the sisters to make up. So they are allowed in this case to pay fidya instead of making up Ramadan, if they feel it is a hardship upon them, if they feel it is overwhelming for them. This is a rukhsa, this is a permission in our religion to do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And also Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu explained the ayah, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. He said this ayah includes breastfeeding and also pregnant women. So these are the rules of sisters who are going through pregnancy or are breastfeeding their babies. These are the rules. Let me summarize it. So they can break the fast by experience if they think they cannot handle it, by experience because they experienced that and they couldn't do it, or by doctor advice, or by certainty or close to certainty. Not any guessing, I am pregnant, I cannot fast, let me break the fast. No, not as easy as this. So these are the 3 ways to know that you cannot fast. I said there are 2 cases. Either you break the fast because of yourself or because of the baby. If it is because of yourself, we said only make up these days. If it's because of the baby, you need to make up these days as well as pay fidya. And also we said if there is continuous pregnancy, continuous breastfeeding, in this case sisters are allowed only to pay fidya instead of making up these days. There is another case some people would ask. They said, you said if they are afraid to harm themselves, they make up. If they are afraid to harm the baby, they make up and pay the fidya. How about if they are afraid of both? Which means the doctor advised them not to fast because of yourself, you may harm yourself as well as you may harm the baby. The ulama said, if this is the case, we take the hukum of you are afraid of yourself. So just all what you need to do is to make up these days. Again, if the doctors tells you not to fast because there is a chance you may harm yourself as well as the harm upon the baby, in this case, all what you need to do is to make up these days and you don't have to pay fidya. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-qabul. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acceptance. As I said last khatira, if you have any question with regards to the fiqh of Ramadan, you can post it inshallah and they will answer it next khatira inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.